Hey guys, it is your girl NicoleHeals. Welcome to my channel. If it is, your first time, if it's not, welcome back. First off, I want to say Happy New Year. Happy 2022. 2020 was a lot. 2021, child. Let's, just celebrate 2022 and hope that it's better and feel that it's better and know that it's gonna be better. And you know why it's gonna be better? Because you are starting a new routine. You're adding to your lifestyle, or maybe you're even starting a whole new lifestyle or looking to with this new routine that you want to start. You feel like invigorated by the newness of the year, new you, and you just want to do something new. And so I think that's great, which is why I want to help you to start a whole new routine. So here are just 3 great steps to help you start a new routine this new year, or whenever you're watching this. Maybe you're watching this at any time of the year. There's no, right time to start a routine. The only right time is the time you pick. So first step that I want to get into is forgetting what you know or you think you know. The second step is setting an intention. And the third is utilizing repetition. All 3 steps are really juicy, and I really hope that you get a lot out of them because there's a lot that goes into them. So, starting with forgetting what you know. I start off with this one because it has to do heavily with mindset. Even though all 3 of these have to do with mindset, this particular one has to do with visiting your past mindset, dissecting it, looking into it, cracking it open so that you can see what has not worked in the past and why. And then you can forget it so that you can incorporate new things to know, to believe, to motivate you to keeping, not even just starting, but keeping a new routine. What you know may be of a lack mindset. What you know may be, and let's be real, most likely is shame and judgment that goes on with starting a new routine. In the past, you may have failed or felt like you failed. You may have quit and received a lot of shame and judgment, whether from others or just from ourselves. What we may know and what we may believe is a lack of willpower within ourselves. And as you dissect your beliefs and your past mindset, you'll notice that it just came from society. How result and product driven our society is, and that if you quit or quote unquote fail, then that means that you deserve a lot of shame and judgment for doing so because you were not able to produce this desired result. What we may believe is that some people just have power and some people just don't, and that you're one of the people that just don't, and you need so much more help than these other people. And that's just not true. And so if all that you know is what society has conditioned you to know, then you have to forget it so that you can then accommodate for who you are, for how your mind works, for how you have to trudge up motivation within yourself to connect to your drive so that you feel empowered when you start something new, instead of feeling so easily disempowered. We have to go back in time and confront our past and figure out the why of why we quit, rather than looking at the result that we quit, the resultant act. We have to figure out what caused this act. What made us quit? What made us feel shame? What made us feel like we failed? What overwhelmed us? And these are great questions to ask yourself. What spooked you and made you fear the journey? What made you believe less in yourself? And yes, these questions are hard. And that's why you have to approach them with an open mind and with compassion. Because look at it like this. If you have a machine, and at one end you put in all the ingredients to make a cake, it goes through the machine, and then at the end you get like a plate of brown sludge. Or maybe say on the plate you get a cupcake. Maybe you even get a donut. In that instance, are you just gonna dissect the result? You know, are you just gonna go in with shame and blame? Or are you gonna go to the machine, you know, and pop open the hood and look at the process? See what nut and bolt fell out that made you quit. Because doing this will help you be present in your journey. And when you shift your mind from the result to what's going on in the moment, you can become more adaptable and problem solve. And further, you can dissect what quitting means to you. What weight do these words hold? And what weight do they hold on you? You know, we gotta let that weight go. Forget what you know so that you can incorporate new things, a new mindset, new definitions for yourself on what certain things mean, and the fact that they don't have to mean. The fact that if you put something down for a day, for a few weeks, for a month, it does not have to mean that you're just this big failure or what society deems a failure. It can mean something different. It can just mean you're kind of overwhelmed with life right now and you just gotta put it down, and that you're not gonna quit because you know you have willpower now, your self-esteem is up now. You're just putting it down for a little bit and you're gonna pick it back up when life stops being wild. So after you identify all that, you can then move on and set an intention. So for me, I use setting an intention in place of setting a goal, because when I was growing up, and as you know, like when we're in school, when we hit a certain age, for me, it was even middle school, but people start asking about our goals in life, you know, like for the rest of our lives. Like we only been on this earth for like 13, 14, 11 years, yet we're being asked about what we want to do with the whole rest of our lives. And if we don't know, then we're deemed like a delinquent, or we just feel weird for not knowing. And so just the word goal puts a certain pressure on me, and I just don't like it. And so I adopted a different meaning and word. I set an intention, and it's really helped because it's helped me to be more present in my journey and more lighthearted as I journey on to new and different things, you know, that I want to do. I don't feel like the journey is so narrow. I don't feel like the harsh disciplinary, you know, ness of the word goal. I don't get as scared as well. And so making accommodations for your own mindset like that is really helpful in life, but can be really helpful in this new process of starting and keeping a new routine. Because for me, the word goals is too confining. You know, it doesn't allow for mistakes. You know, it doesn't allow for roughness around the edges. It's very clean cut, and it doesn't allow for any hairs to be out of place. And if you look at my hair right now, like, honey, my hair is always out of place in some way. Not saying it's like bad looking, but it's poofy, you know, it's natural. It has natural frizz. And I feel like that's a metaphor for me, you know? We shouldn't have to feel like this one size fits all way that we're supposed to do things that society sets forth for us is the only way. And that if we are, you know, less clean cut, a little more fuzzy, a little more accident prone, a little more mistake prone, that doesn't mean that you're going about it wrong at all, you know? Because when I started allowing for the fuzziness, you know, the hair is out of place, but also the journey to be non-linear, when I started allowing for loop-de-loops, when I would get myself caught in a loop-de-loop, I gained great insight and great wisdom that has helped me not only trudge along the journey one day more, you know, and then another day more, and then another. It's helped me overall in life, you know, and I can always go back to that time, to that specific time where I set an intention and went along the journey for it in order to help me in my next intentions. And so having a different word like that, accommodating for your own mind, can really help you in your journey and spill off into different, aspects of your life. If you don't like setting an intention, you can set an aspiration. You can say that you have a dream. It kind of keeps you more in the moment, and it keeps you connected to the idea you had at the beginning. And then you can use that as motivation to trudge on in your journey, rather than just using a result, using the ending as motivation for yourself. Because if you think about it, if you go in just with this idea in your back pocket and this whole open view, open mind, allowing for anything that happens, the result can actually be something more than you ever could think of, could dream of, could aspire to be. Whereas when you go in with a goal and you're only allowing the result to, number one, fuel you and motivate you, but to create a tunnel vision, you're not really in the moment. You're looking at the end. And then you're holding on so tightly to the end. Keep in mind, and just have this to consider, that by holding on so tightly to a goal, you may actually be hindering yourself and hindering the result of what it could have been. You made it to be only what you could think, and your mind could conjure up what it could be. So by making that type of accommodation really helped me, because you got to understand, the one size fits all is based on a neurotypical mind, a neurotypical way of doing things. And some of us are neurodivergent. A lot of people could benefit from veering off the rails and doing things differently. So know that you can do that. Know that it is possible. Your mind just may need that. So consider that when you're starting a new routine. So, last up in this video is utilizing repetition. This is sort of like the technical, physical side of things, of starting a new routine that you can have in general under your belt, but it's really helpful to utilize on those bad off days when the mindset is just not there. If setting an intention or an aspiration or a dream doesn't work, what you knew in the past is just plaguing your mind, which happens, just think about getting the repetition in. We don't always feel like being productive every day as humans. We're not machines. Know that your mind needs a break. But since you want to start a new routine, and say you're weary about taking a day or taking too many days off, allow getting those repetitive movements in to be your focus, of starting that new routine, because it's the repetition that impacts our mind, that influences our mind, that influences our memory, and then further influences our body and creates that muscle memory. It's important to think about that on the bad days where you're still connected to your dream, but you just don't feel motivated. Just think about the repetition. Just think about getting it in. Just think about just getting to that desk. Just getting to that first step in the routine. The starting is so important on these days. Whether you finish or not is really not important, because there's so much energy and willpower that goes into the starting. In the whole aspect of repetition for, the big task, there's little mini things of repetition that will help you on the future bad days. So for me, I, in the past, wanted to come to a point where I was doing yoga frequently. And so on those down days when I would just be in bed, and I'd just be looking at my room and I'm like, oh, I want to get up, but I just can't. And I just feel like I can't. Having that first thought of, okay, I want to do this, but I don't feel like I can, helped. That's one thing that I would repetitively do on the bad days. The second thing is, it's funny, it's like a routine within the routine, the routine of like possessing the willpower to do it and the motivation, and then doing the actual routine. But yeah, so the first step was that. The second step was sometimes I would do like a 1, 2, 3 go, where I wouldn't even think about it. I'd be like, you know what, 1, 2, 3, I'm gonna go get up. Third was physically throwing the covers, you know, off of my body. The fourth was going to go, you know, tinkle a little bit before I did the yoga. The fifth was cleaning up my room, you know, a little bit, so that I could go onto rolling out my mat and then going on YouTube and press and play and actually doing the yoga. And sometimes I would not finish the whole video. You know, sometimes I wouldn't even do my usual like 30 minutes a day. Sometimes I would just do 10. And they would just be routine stretches. Sometimes I only do 5 minutes because, you know, the mindset just wasn't there, which is okay. But the point is, I still got myself on that mat. And so for the subsequent bad days, and utilizing that repetition helped me to create the memory and realize that I can do it. I want to do it, and I can, because think back on that day when you did it. This is why you can focus on the repetition, because it's the main thing that matters. Because when you think about it, a lot of us, you know, deal with mental health issues that impede on our motivation, you know, on our belief of our willpower. And so what most likely got you there, got you here to this video, was a repetition of people disempowering you, telling you that you can't, you know, and you started to believe it, unfortunately. But like I said before, just because we believe it does not mean it's true. And so we can take that tool of repetition and now use it and utilize it in this positive way to incorporate more positive things, more new things, a new you into a new life. Yeah. And know that the more that you do this, the more that you utilize repetition on the bad days, and remember these tips on the bad days, the more you will be proud of yourself. And it's the closer that you will be to believing in your own power that's already there. So on those bad days, let it be where you just focus on repetition and you just let your mindset be where it is, and you focus on that physical to get you where you need to go through the journey, but just for today, you know, because it doesn't have to last forever. It doesn't have to last the whole journey either. And as you can see, these tips really flow into each other. You know, they mix in with each other. And that's why, you know, I picked them, because it's necessary to pull them apart so that you can see all the nooks and crannies, you know, between the spaces. You can see all the nuts and bolts so that you can fully and truly understand what goes into starting a new routine and having that new mindset and disrupt the old pattern, so that you can create a new one. Because I know how it is. You know, we have a lot riding on these new routines, you know, to inform us of ourselves, inform us of our power, and to prove ourselves wrong, and prove, you know, people in our past wrong, and to feel like we have a sense of worthiness. You know, I understand that. And that's why I'm here with these tips that I urge you to utilize as a way to get you closer to believing in your worth and in your power, even if it's by simply starting a new routine. So with that, I bid you good luck, and I really want to connect y'all to this resource that I have that is, you know, one of my videos. I am kind of biased, but like, it's a really good video that dissects what it truly means to quit. You know, it's called True Life, I Am a Quitter, and I really go into the why of why we quit and what we equate quitting with, which is usually weakness. And you can apply that to how that impedes on our ability, on your ability to start new things and start a new routine. It urges you, like this video, to practice self-compassion rather than judging yourself, because believe me, I've tried. You cannot shame and judge yourself into a new person, a new positive person, you know, into a healthy person. If you shame and judge yourself constantly, you'll be a new person, but will it be for your highest good? So shout out to the new routine, shout out to the new lifestyle, shout out to the new and improved you. Thank y'all so much for watching. I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.